welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Appreciate your patience here this morning as we get set and ready to go to round out our week here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in our final broadcast before I head on the road to the College Football Playoff National Championship. Very excited for the opportunity, and once again, want to thank everybody involved. Want to thank the College Football Playoff, and of course want to thank bowl season as well as the numerous bowls that I've had the opportunity to connect with. Truly appreciate you all, and I'm very excited. Love, the host city, the opportunity to be back in Miami. So thank you to everyone involved with the College Football Playoff for the opportunity to be heading once again to the national championship game. Last year made history where the College Football Playoff expanded from 4 teams to 12, and in that historic 12-team playoff for the first time ever, I was able to be there for every single round, including the national championship on that historic season. And now in the season to follow, I have been through the quarterfinals, the semifinals, and will now be heading back to the national championship. And all I can say is God is great. Blessings are wonderful and well appreciated, and I will do my best to give God everything I can and give everything that I can to what I'm doing, and to try to help other people to tell their stories and to just enjoy the moment, because this is a beautiful thing, and it's rare, and to be able to do it 2 years in a row and hopefully continuing on from here really means a lot. So I will do my best to live in the moment by the grace of God and to the thanks of God. So, with that being said, we're inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City, coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They're open for sales and service Monday through Saturday. Head over to Great Lakes Honda City and let them know that DT sent you their way by going out there and taking a look at their new and used vehicles you can buy and lease at Great Lakes Honda City. And just make sure that you get in touch with them as soon as you can to not miss a moment, to not miss all the good things that they have to offer, and to not miss one of the cars on their lot. And, of course, you can go anytime to GreatLakesHondaCity.com, so make sure you do that. We are up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com. Both /WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So however you're connected with the show, we thank you so much for tuning in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and cannot thank you enough for being a part of everything that we do here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, as well as beyond that when we do our on-site broadcasts, when we travel around the country and the world. Thank you so much for your support, for your love, for your positivity, for your goodness. I appreciate it all so very much. So let's jump right into it here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. We're going to start things off as we always do with our trio of Friday segments. The Annoying Moment of the Week, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Carvel DeWitt. Then we'll jump into Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. And that's proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero. Then we'll jump into our Top Dog of the Week honor. Our Top Dog of the Week this week is Stefan Thompson. And Stefan Thompson's going to be joining us in just a little while at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So we are honoring him as our Top Dog of the Week following his 100th career victory as a head coach. And we'll round out everything with Jeff Lonczak, who was supposed to be with us a couple days ago. And I was able to right that ship here and get him onto the broadcast. So he was there ready to go for us, and we had a little issue on our end, so I'm happy that we have the opportunity to bring Jeff Lonczak on the show. Longtime tennis player as well as tennis coach, and he's going to be joining us to speak on his path, to speak on his journey as he moves forward. And we're also going to have the opportunity to talk with him about something that means a lot to him, which is, of course, his Chicago Bears squad. He's a big-time Bears fan, so we'll talk with him about the Bears, and we'll get into that and how they have found their way to navigate through this season by winning a bunch of games and comebacks, including their playoff game against the Green Bay Packers, their third match against the Packers this season. So a lot of great stuff coming up. Let's jump into the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Carvel DeWitt.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I really, honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
Do you have to be that crazy? I guess so. The annoying moment of the... I love that intro. Shout out to my former producer, Nicholas Cicero, for putting that together, and we've had it for many, many, many years. My annoying moment of the week this week, I don't want to make it the same. I could easily, talk about the fact that people need to care about people, that we live in a world where if it ain't me, I'm not worried about it. If it's not happening to me, who cares? And, that like, I call it the neighbor approach. Like the neighbor looks outside and sees that the house next to them is being robbed, and they go, oh, thank goodness it's not me. But they don't go over there, they don't call the cops, and they don't reach out to the owner. They just go back in the house and pretend like they didn't see anything, right? We live in a society like that now. We live in a society that's very much like, hey, if it's not happening to me, who cares, right? It's not a big deal. It's not my problem. And this is my belief. If you watch your neighbor get robbed, and then that neighbor watched their neighbor get robbed, and then that neighbor watches that neighbor get robbed, and it keeps going down the street, guess who's getting robbed next? These people that have been watching. So, I mean, if somebody's coming through your neighborhood and they're robbing you and they know that no one's looking out for each other and nobody's saying anything, then why wouldn't they keep robbing, right? They know, hey, this is a good street. This is a street that doesn't do anything about it. So, this is perfect for me. I can go do what I want to do and not get caught because nobody's willing to help out somebody. So, eventually the problem comes to you. And that's something that, I've believed in for a long time. The problem eventually comes to your doorstep. If you don't seek to help other people, it eventually comes to you. And so they say, like, sometimes if you don't stand against something, but you don't say anything, it looks like you stand for that thing that you don't agree with. And that happens a lot. Why are we where we are right now in American society? I think it's because there was a lot of crazy stuff going on, and we ignored it. We laughed at it, but we didn't do anything about it. We didn't say anything about it. We might have said something to our mom or our dad or our coworker or our friend, but we didn't stand up against it. And now there's weird things going on. Like men in women's sports, I've done this for over 22 years. Women and men should not be playing the same sport at the same time. They just shouldn't be. If you want to have some fun and you want to do tennis doubles, right? Or you want to have a volleyball match, or you want to have like a celebrity basketball game, that's fine. But allowing men into women's sports that are terrible in their sport, and then they go into the women's version of it. It's not even the women's version of it. They go into the women's side of things, and they win. What was it? The swimmer that was like in 200th place or something ridiculous, and then they went and became a woman swimmer, and then they like won a medal, or the person that got in the ring in the Olympics and knocked a woman out that was a man that said it wasn't. That men and women's sports is psychotic. It's psychotic. And I'm a man saying that, but I've stood up for women's sports my entire career. I started my career standing up for women's sports. I was told I was going to cover men's basketball, and I said men's and women's, and they said, well, definitely men's. And I said, I'm doing both. And I fought for both. I have been fighting for men and women in their sports my entire career, and kids. So, should kids play adult sports? Should an 8-year-old play against a 30-year-old in football and get trampled and have all their bones broken? Where are we in society right now? But that's not my annoying moment of the week. It's just my thought, because my dad was talking to me this week about it, and it's just weird. It's just weird, and there's people that have brought it up on the show before, and yeah, I should have let him go with it. I should have let him talk a little bit more about it, and I didn't, and that's my fault, you know. But my annoying moment of the week, I would have to say, looking back at this specific week, I would say, you know, growing up as a kid, I thought that doctors were like above humans, like above a normal human. I thought, you know, like here's the population, right? And here's like the few doctors, right? Like the percentage of doctor to, you know, mass population. And I just thought to myself, man, if I'm ever sick or anything's ever wrong, like I go to the doctor and they know everything, and they got the magic, right? They know how to get you better. And then you realize as you get older that doctors are human beings, and sometimes they're just winging it. Sometimes they have no idea. You know, I met a doctor this week who was helping me with something that had been bothering me for like a couple of years, right? And some neck pain and back pain, whatever. And like stuff that came and comes and goes, but it was like different the last couple months. And he sat and he listened to me talk about my like things that I saw with my diet, things that I had with like acid reflux, things that I had with like a vocal issue a couple of years ago, like all this stuff that I'd gone through. And he sat and he listened to all of it. And I could tell that it's like, I'm not here just to help your back. I'm here to help you. And I thought to myself, dang, like what an awesome, awesome doctor. And not everybody's like this guy. You know, not everybody thinks like this guy. Not everybody acts like this guy. But God bless him. And it just made me sit here and think, like, how many times did I not have good care or not have somebody listen? And it's not just with doctors or anything. It's why don't people listen to people? Why don't people care about what's going on in somebody else's life? Why are we like this now? Is it social media? Is it the media, you know, itself on television? Is it what they're showing you? Are you being desensitized? The constant talk about me, is that something that's kind of like eating away at you? But I ask you that, you know, what is it why is our society not willing to listen? And not listening to speak, which means you're just listening until someone shuts up so you can talk, but listening to hear, like actively listening with a purpose, listening to help, listening to understand, listening to respond to what is actually going on. I mean, to sit there with that doctor this week, the couple times that I got to sit with him, a part of me wanted to cry and be like, oh, you actually care. Oh, like, you don't mind me telling my story. You don't mind me telling you what's been going on. You're asking questions. You're trying to dig deeper. You're trying to understand. We're talking about all these things that are far beyond what you have to do today. And I think I call up my dad, and I was like, I just met a doctor that's like helping me with my neck and my back, and he actually, I think he's gonna like help me with everything. I think he's trying to, you know, assist me to just be healthy and well, and you know, taking care of myself in all ways. And I didn't have that. You know, I didn't have that. And can we stop with this thing of like, we get to a doctor's office a few minutes late and they don't have to see us. We get to the doctor's 15 minutes late, 20 minutes late, and we have to reschedule. But we can get to the doctor's office early, and they could be a half an hour and 20 minutes late, and we can't say anything. You know, like, it's such a weird thing. And it happens in sports too. Like, I'll leave the school out of it, but there's an athletic department that consistently is not on time. You know, and they tell you things last minute. So we could have something at 1 o'clock, and at 8 o'clock we get an email that it's switching to 10 o'clock. Well, what human being that's like getting after it in their lives hasn't planned something, right? The night before or the day of, you can't. I'm not the type of person that you can change the schedule by 3 hours and expect me to be there. And then if I'm not there, to be, why weren't you here? Because you can't tell me at the drop of a hat that you're changing something like that. And then you show up, let's say, okay, you find a way to get there. They make it 3 hours earlier or later, and you find a way to get there. And you get there, and you're waiting 45 minutes. And then it starts 45 minutes late, and then your player doesn't show up until an hour and 15 in, and then they tell you your other player's not coming. And you're sitting here going, I changed my day around. I changed all this stuff. I got here. You were late. Then my player was even later, and then my other player, you didn't bother to tell me, is not coming out, so you didn't give me an opportunity to get anybody else. Like, do you know how annoying it is to go through, traffic and all this stuff and scheduling and get somewhere and then have somebody whisper in your ear, yeah, your player's not coming out today. So there's 105 players. You have two choices. We can't give you one of the two choices of the 105 that you gave us. And we didn't bother to tell you ahead of time, and we're not going to let you adjust. You can talk to whoever's coming out here, but you have to allow this, and you have to allow, and it's like, no, if you inconvenienced me, then you need to convenience me. Like, we need to set this thing back. Don't tell me this isn't happening. I spent my time to come out here. You're not going to do this, and now I can't do anything else with it. I mean, I remember there's this one person that I met in like the athletic communication world, and they would tell you have to have your requests in by a certain time, and then they would send you a message a minute later, an hour later, the next day, telling you that the people you requested aren't available, and you're like, okay, so let me request somebody else, and they're like, no, you passed the time. I'm like, no, you passed the time. You got my request on time. You told me after that those people aren't available. I shouldn't be stuck to that. I gave you what you needed when you asked for it. You didn't give me the time to change it. Figure it out. Like, you dropped the ball. If I got to give you my request by 1 o'clock and you tell me at 2:01 that neither of those players are available, and then you say, well, you can't give me any new players, why not? Why did it take you an hour and a minute to get back to me on that when you told me that things have to be in? I met the deadline, and I'm being punished because you didn't get me the information on time. And it's wild that, and I experienced something this week. There's people that will reschedule, change times, not be available, not answer their phone, not text you back for weeks upon weeks upon weeks upon weeks. And if you make one mistake, slap on your wrist. But you can't say anything to them. You can't say anything about their lack of, respecting your time. But if you disrespect their time, and that hypocrisy, I mean, I come back to that all the time. Like, how are you going to tell somebody that they can't ever make a mistake? They can't do this. They can't do that. They have to be good about all their time. But knowing that you switched something last minute, then you switched it again, then you had to switch a day, then you had to move this over. And every time your schedule changes and you bump that person, it's like, well, why are you bumping me? I'm the least important part of your schedule? But you bump me and you bump me and you move me and you don't answer and you move me and you don't answer and you move me. And then one mistake happens and I'm the bad guy. Hypocrisy is crazy to me because people's schedules change. Things happen. I mean, I remember that I was supposed to interview somebody and my dog wasn't feeling well. And it was like right before I'm supposed to interview this person. And I texted them and I told them, like, I'm sorry, I got to bring my dog to the vet. Like, nothing else is important to me under God. There's nothing else more important to me right now than to get her to the vet. She's my kid. I have to take care of her. You know, that's my baby. And she needs me right now. And that takes precedence over everything because I have to get her to the vet. And I didn't get an answer. And then like months went by and I didn't get anything. And now I tried again. I gave it time and I tried. And now, you know, we're close and we have an amazing relationship. But in that moment, I remember thinking like that day, the next week, the week after that, like, why is this person not getting back to me? Like, I told them that I had to bring my dog to the vet. You know, I mean, there's nothing I can do. Like, why does, you know, like, are they upset that this happened? But like life happens, folks. It does. And we can't control it. And I feel like there's a difference between making a mistake. There's a difference between something not working out that's just like an honest mistake and blatantly not caring about something. Like if you don't care about something and something doesn't matter to you and you treat people poorly and you just don't care, then I can see somebody going like, okay, like I didn't like that. I didn't appreciate that. But see, that's the thing. Like if there's a difference between being sick and missing something, or being under the weather, or just being off and missing something, and being drunk, partying and missing something, right? So as a business owner for me, if I have an intern working with, like this has happened to me before. I had somebody, when I was working at a radio station, I had somebody that was manning my phone calls. And she smoked a ton of weed or she bathed in it, one of the two. But she would come to work late, stinking of weed. She would like not talk to you. She wouldn't apologize. She didn't care. And I was like, I don't want this person here. Like, I don't consider this person to be a professional. Then there's another person that, you know, comes in and I'm sorry, I overslept. I didn't hit my alarm. I woke up. I had to take my dog out. I did everything I possibly could do to get here. I am so sorry that I'm a few minutes late. And you're like, okay, like stuff happens. You know, I hope it doesn't happen again and let's not make a habit of it, but stuff happens, right? You know, I mean, it's like my dad and I were meeting for dinner. I'm usually late. I got there before him last night and he got there after me. I didn't say like, why are you late? Why are you behind? Why are you da-da-da? Like the roads were bad. I've been late plenty of times. He probably expected me to be late. So he could have left later thinking I'm going to be late. He could have left on time and just had to drive slower. But, you know, it's like stuff happens. New York City, with all the protests that I don't know if they're still having them. Hopefully they're not. But they had protests last year. And, you know, I was dating this girl. We weren't boyfriend and girlfriend, but like we were, you know, whatever, dating, going on dates, talking all the time. And so like we had a time to meet and I was like trying to make sure frantically that I got there on time, and I got there on time and she didn't. She told me like to the T. She's like, I'm going to be 33 minutes late. Like this is what it says in the Uber. There's a protest going on that like I can't get over there. And yeah, you're sitting there going like, yeah, this stinks. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And I rushed myself to get over here. And, you know, it was warm outside. I'm wearing nice clothes. So maybe I'm, you know, sweating a little bit. But at the same time, it's like, what can she do? I mean, there's a protest. She didn't think, and she was really good about time and professional and everything. So to me, it's like, you know, I mean, it stinks, but what are you going to do? And I just feel like the overarching conversation in this annoying moment of the week, probably presented by Carvel DeWitt this week, is like, treat others the way you'd want to be treated. I mean, last week, I had two people that missed their interviews. And I didn't like it. And I saw myself kind of on a high horse, and then I pulled myself off of it. Because this one kid apologized profusely. And I just remember hearing him apologize, and I heard God's voice inside of me go, accept this man's apology and move on, because you would never want somebody to just sit there and make you feel smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And then ironically, I missed an interview this week, and I got treated the total opposite. I got treated like I was worthless. So, but it was like I had the opportunity to treat someone below me and worthless, and I didn't. I changed the way I was responding, because it's like, treat other people the way you want to be treated. And then God let me see the other side of it. And I was like, wow, like, if I didn't forgive that person, or I kept like pushing them down, or I didn't give them another chance, like, now here I am in the situation. And God has a way of humbling us. He has a way of showing us, like, if you don't handle something correct, I will put you in that situation, but I'll flip it. Like, I will make you the person that is now asking for the apology instead of the one who's hearing the apology. And let's see how it's handled, right? And I think I've just realized in life that reputation should matter. When you build a rapport with someone, it should matter. Time in should matter, and I mean, depending on what you do, if you have 12 years in a friendship and you tell a friend you killed somebody, I mean, that in that case, time, doesn't matter in the sense of, it's like, okay, well, that's a bad thing. But, you feel like when you work so hard at something, it should count for something, but it doesn't always count. And, I find myself always kind of deferring to the other person. Like, they're more important than me. Their schedule is more important than me. What they do is more important. And I'm always the gracious one, right? Not that they're not gracious, but I'm just saying that, like, I'm always, oh, thank you so much, and da-da-da-da. And then you look back on it and you're like, why are they better than you? Why is their time more important? How come they can reschedule with you 6 times and you've never thought to rebuke them, but you can make one mistake and you're challenged at the fiber of your being? Treat other people the way you want to be treated. When somebody treats me in a way that I wouldn't even think about treating them, like, those words would have never crossed my mind, that makes me stop and say, like, okay, I put in 20 years or 12 years or however many years. What does it count for? Like, and does this person have a God complex? Because you're not more important than me. You're not more important than anybody. And I've been reading this prayer on humility, and it's a prayer that really, like, it hits you. It's like you're telling God, give it to someone else. Give the opportunity to someone else. Give the praise to someone else. Make somebody else holier. Like, make everyone else's life better than mine. It's this, like, release, but it starts with, God, like, help me to not be afraid of this and afraid of that. And essentially what it's doing is, it's like taking you away from comparing yourselves to other people. And it's taking you away from, like, are you more important than them? Are they more important than you? And it's putting you in this place of, like, you are, like, God is challenging you to humble yourself. I mean, he is challenging you to not think of, like, your time is more important than theirs, your job is more important. Like, he's telling you, like, stop caring what other people think about you, what they say about you, what happened to you in the past. Like, you have to let it all go. And by letting it all go, you have to know you're not the center of the universe, because a lot of times we think when somebody hurts us that, like, it's personal and they're coming after us and it's this, that, and whatever, when in actuality, like, that just might be who they are. They might treat everybody like that. And I can't tell you how many times I've been treated poorly by someone, and then I watch this person do it to somebody else, or somebody says something to me, and it's like, oh, like, I thought it was personal when they said that or they did that. And then you're like, well, they did that to 3, 4, 5 other people. Like, this is just who they are, But people make mistakes. Things happen. And yeah, it stinks. Do you know how many times I've had to reschedule interviews because something happens last minute, or I can't get a hold of somebody, or someone's maybe not reliable, or they had an emergency, or whatever it may be. It happens. And, my word is extremely important to me. It's extremely important to me. So when I tell you such and such is going to be on the show, and then I call them 12 times and they don't answer their phone, now it looks like, did I lie? And no, I didn't lie, but they're not here. And it's frustrating, but, hopefully those people will get in touch with you and they'll tell you what's going on and they'll be honest with you. And then you work from there and you move on from there. But you get to see someone's character on how they are and what they do. There's certain people that I'm not going to do a live show with. I'm going to pre-record everything because I can't trust that they will be available live. They're great people. They're awesome to talk to, but I have been burned multiple times live, so I pre-record it because I know. But see, that's me adjusting. Instead of hating the person, being mad at the person, and never talking to them again, it's saying, I value this relationship. They're just not reliable in this piece. They could be perfect in everything else, but they're just not reliable here. And I know that. So I can either keep doing the same thing and it doesn't work out and I complain about it, or I can adjust and understand that if I want to get this thing done, this is how I have to do it. Sometimes we just have to navigate. And I'm always willing to navigate if somebody cares and they're kind and they're good. Like, if you don't give a crap about me or anybody else, I'll pray for you, but I'm not going to go out of my way to make sure that, the way you treat people is the way you treat people. And there's things that I won't say and do to people. And that's just the real. So if I see somebody saying and doing that, then I'm like, okay, like if that's how that person is, then that's okay. That's okay. That's their choice, but I'm not going to mess with somebody that doesn't care about other people. But everyone's going to make mistakes. Everyone is going to, at some point, show up late to something, forget about something, mishandle something. Like, something's going to happen. You could have somebody like the Postal Service delivers my mail all the time, and most of the time it's fine. Sometimes it looks like something's been opened. Sometimes, like, I've never seen this before. They put like one of my letters in a bag, and it said like USPS cares about you or something like that, like we care. And because like it got wrinkled, so they took care of it. And I could have been sitting here thinking about like, how did it get wrinkled? Who did this? Da, 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 da. But I was like, oh, that's nice that they put it in a bag for me. That's nice that they cared about that. They kept it from getting wet. They kept it from getting more damaged, But there might be somebody else in the Postal Service that doesn't care, right? Delivers it to the wrong house. Doesn't matter. We all have to care about each other. And we have to humble ourselves, or else nothing gets done in life. So, I think the annoying moment of the week is just, when you're on both sides of the coin, when you're the person apologizing and then you're the person being apologized to, be careful on how you handle somebody apologizing to you, because one day you're going to be the apologizer and you might get what you give, right? That's God's lesson. It's not me wishing bad. You could call it karma, you could call it God, you can call it whatever you want, but God has a way of putting you on the other side and making you think. And I just feel like we need to start talking to people and treating people the way that we want to be talked to and treated. And when we don't do that, we need to apologize, we need to confess, we need to ask God for forgiveness, and we got to do better. We have to do better. Because a cold world, it can't function. Can't. The colder the world gets, what happens when it's cold outside? You want to be inside, right? You don't want to go out into it. So take that figuratively. In a cold world, the colder it gets, how many people want to go outside? But we have the power to warm it. So we can either choose to turn our heads and pretend like we don't see it and it gets worse, or we can do something about it. Treat people better. Try to make the world a better place. I meet people that don't believe in God and I pray in front of them. Not to make them uncomfortable, but you're not going to stop me from praying over a meal because you don't believe in God. And then, a year, 2, 3, 5, 10 years from now, maybe you pray. And maybe seeing me pray, maybe that helped you get there. We can make positive change. We can make a difference. And if you don't believe me, well, we can make negative change and we can make a difference with that. And so if negativity can spread like wildfire, so can positivity. It's just what we choose to put our energy into. So put your energy into good. Put your energy into helping other people, humbling yourself and understanding it's not all about you. And, sometimes people have a bad day. Sometimes you have a bad day. We always think about how something affects us. How dare somebody do this? But have we never had a day where we popped off on a total stranger? Did we apologize for that? But if a total stranger pops off on us, we're appalled. We'll call everybody. We'll freak the heck out. But what about when we do it? Right? You can't justify when you do it and not justify when they do it. You can't be hypocritical. And in those moments of hypocrisy, I check myself, and I also look at the people on the other side and say, man, I hope you're never late. I hope you never oversleep. I hope you never have to change something. I hope you never make a mistake in your life if this is how you treat people that make mistakes. We all make mistakes. And none of us is above the other. When you know the character of somebody, there's a difference between, okay, they made a mistake and they just don't care. And, hopefully we take the time to get to know people enough to know what we're dealing with. Let's jump right into lead, learn, evolve. So this has been the annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. Treat people good. Treat people the way you want to be treated. It's a golden rule, baby. And you can get over for some just gold standard, platinum standard ice cream at Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. It is what happy tastes like, and it's the longest standing Carvel franchise in the continental United States, so make sure you get over there today. It's time for Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver. Proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero. This acronym comes to you every Friday. Today's topic, connecting right to what we were talking about with the annoying moment of the week. This happens all the time, and I never mean to do it necessarily on purpose, but it just happens because God is good. God is great all the time. Humble yourself. I've been dealing with this, and I've been really looking into this because I had a conversation with my priest about humility. And he told me, he goes, I'm going to give you a prayer, but you're not going to like it. He said at the end of the prayer, there's nothing left. There's nothing left. And this prayer is literally you praying to God. Like, instead of feeling sorry for yourself and say, God, punish this person, God, make this person see, God, do this, God, do that. You're literally saying to God, make me below them. Like, take everything that I'm going through and make my life not as good as theirs. It's like taking what you're complaining about and it's telling God, like, not only am I going to stop complaining, but I want this person that hurts me, I want them to succeed. Not in hurting you, but I want them to succeed in life. I want them to do well. Like, instead of talking to God and telling God to punish this person or to, help you, instead of saying, help me, God, you're saying, help them. Help those that hurt me. Help those that disrespect me. Help those that confuse me. You look at Job, and he keeps coming up to me. This story of Job keeps coming up to me. And for those of you that don't know, I'm going to tell you, the story of Job that we have in the Bible. So he's a righteous man who suffers immense loss, wealth, family, health, due to a heavenly challenge between God and Satan. Not because of Job's sin. His friends wrongly blame him, but Job struggles with God, ultimately realizing human understanding is limited, and God restores his fortunes, teaching that God's wisdom transcends our grasp, and faith requires trusting him even through inexplicable suffering, right? That we don't just believe in God when things are good. You know, I've told people this before. I was like, I feel like we believe in God when God gives us what we want. Like, we believe in God when we pray for somebody not to be sick and they get healthy. We believe in God when we pray for someone to not die and they don't die. We believe in God when we ask God for a job and we get it. We believe in God when we ask God for money and we have money. We believe in God when we ask God to find the right man or woman and we find the right man or woman. We believe in God when he gives us what we demand. Right? That's when we think prayer works. But what about when you pray to God for a man or a woman and they're not the right person for you? And God sees down the road and what's going to happen and what's going to be and how this person is, and he protects you from it. What happens when you ask God for a job and he says no, because he knows that they're going to fire their CEO, they're going to change this whole thing, and the company's going to go belly up. Right? Or when he wants you to go out and do something, he wants you to take a tougher road, so he makes where you are a place where you eventually say, I shouldn't be here, right? He shows you all these things to take it away. I've been at radio stations I never thought I was leaving, but he put me in a place where it was like, this is not healthy, this is not good. It's not like I ran away from a challenge. It was like he was saying to me, these people don't care about anything. They don't care about what you do. This is not a place. They did not keep their word with you. You did everything that you were supposed to do, and they left. Right? That wasn't God saying stay longer. It was like, I want to like literally twist this thing into a place where you say, okay, I have to move on. I got to do something else. Not because you're quitting, but sometimes God makes you uncomfortable to stay and figure it out. Sometimes God makes it uncomfortable because he wants you elsewhere. Right? And this is where you pray for discernment. Like, God, are you making this uncomfortable because I'm supposed to stay here and learn this and grow this here? Or are you making this road such a bad road because you want me on a different one? And maybe this isn't a bad road for everybody, but it's not a good one for me. Like, I remember working for a company and working as hard as I did and doing everything I did. And I kept thinking to myself, why am I not getting raises? Why am I not getting job opportunities? Why am I seeing other people do this and I'm not? Like, I feel like I'm doing more than enough to earn, a positive thing here, a positive thing there, to get this job opportunity, to get this opening. And I look back on it and it's like, yeah, if all those doors opened, then maybe I didn't start my company. Maybe I didn't come back to New York. And so God could have been like, yeah, you're doing everything right. And you're doing things where you should get promoted. You should have opportunities. Like, but I'm not letting this happen because I need you to move here, to start this, to do this for me. I need you to get to these people. And in order for you to get to, I can't tell you what I'm doing. You have to figure it out, but I'm trying to help you. I mean, I could have stayed in my marriage. I could have stayed there. And I kept trying to. And then I heard the voice of God saying to me, you can think I'm crazy or not, I stood in my hallway, he put his hand over my hand, and there was like a button that wasn't actually there, but I saw it. And he put his hand over my hand. He goes, are you going to hit the reset button? Are you finally going to do it? And I said, yeah. And I hit it. And he said, good, because if you didn't, I would have. Like, I would have pushed your hand down on it. because I'm trying to get through to you. I'm trying to talk to you. I understand what you're doing. Like, it was like, God, I made a commitment. I made it to you. It's a sacrament. I'm not going to let go. And then he came to me and said, I appreciate the fact that you will go the rest of your life with this, that you made this commitment to me, but I don't want you here. Right? When we say to God, I do not choose like in my marriage, I was not choosing myself. I was not choosing my happiness. I was not happy. I wasn't in a good place. The longer I was in it, the less I was choosing me. But I said to God, I made a commitment to you. I'm not going to let go of this. And I held on so much longer. And then he was like, let go. And then when you're talking to other people and they're challenging you and they're questioning you, and I'm like, if God told me to get out of here, why do I have to defend myself to you? God himself said, I don't want you here. And I said, no, I'll stay. I made a commitment. And he said, yeah, that doesn't matter. Like, okay, you gave your word to me. She didn't keep it. So you're supposed to sit here and do everything and live in this shell of a relationship because you promised me at the altar? And it's like, yeah, I promised you. I promised you, I promised her, I promised myself. I keep my promises. And I held on. And then he said, let go. Not because you're quitting, not because you failed, but I don't want you here anymore. You know, sometimes, and I've been through this with God a million times, there's things that I want, and he says, no. And I say, but I want them. And he says, I don't care. And every time I've listened to myself over him, I have gone through hell. And every time I've listened to him over me, he's been right. So God humbles us. He breaks us down to build us up. He allows us to hurt to remind us that he is the only sanctuary. He takes worldly things away from us. He takes away things that matter to us, ego, money, facades. He takes all this stuff away to remind us we're not here for that. We're not here for how many people we could date and how many things we could do with them. We're not here for how many planes we can buy. We're not here for how much money we can make or how many followers we can have. God doesn't care about your Facebook followers. He doesn't care about X and Instagram and TikTok. He cares about your soul. And that is something. When you have a God that loves you so deeply that he will break you down to remind you that he sits on the throne, not you. And so sometimes he humbles us, and it's hard, and it stinks. But a God who humbles us is a God who still cares about us. So maybe we should listen. This has been Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero. Topic of humbling ourselves. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back around, he didn't know it until he knew it. Maybe if he checked social media, he knows it. But if he didn't, well, he's about to know that Mr. Thompson's not only coming on this show to be a part of the show today, he's coming on the show as the only one that we call our top dog of the week this week because he's done a tremendous job. He has 100 career victories. So not only is he a guest on the show, he's our top dog of the week, and we're going to celebrate him right after this.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. We prepare it to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Happy to be here with you inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, and it is my honor and my privilege to bring you our next guest. And not only our next guest, but our top dog of the week. Top dog of the week comes to you from K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare, the only place I would tell you to bring your dog for daily care here in Central and Upstate New York. 315-437-7110 is the number to call. And of course, you could go and get more information at K-9kamp.com. Our top dog of the week, celebrating this gentleman. Happy to do so. Means a lot to me to be able to do this and to have him on the broadcast. Stefan Thompson celebrating not only the 100th career victory for Stefan Thompson, but also to celebrate just the road here, the road that we've had. I mean, he came on the show a few years back, becoming a head coach, getting the opportunity, hearing other coaches talk highly of him. And here we are celebrating number 100. And like I told him, and I think I texted to him a couple days ago, like, here's to the next 500. So he is our top dog of the week because not only are we celebrating a wonderful milestone, but he's always been good to me, always been kind. You know, I've gone to funerals and wakes for people in the sports world, and he's there. This isn't just a coach that shows up to practice in the games. He shows up in the hard times. He shows up for people. He doesn't forget about people. And you'll see him in a crowd, and he'll look to you, and he might just salute you, give you a smile. But he lets you know, I see you. I appreciate you. I know that you're there. He'll come all throughout the room just to shake your hand, to tell you hello, and then to go back to what you're doing, like, hey, I don't want to bother you. I just wanted to say hi. Just want to let you know I saw you. And people like that let other people know that they're seen, that goes well beyond wins and losses. So beyond everything I can say this morning, he's not only a guest, he's the top dog because of the type of human being and because he lets us know that we're seen. Stefan Thompson, how are we doing?
Dan, thank you for that intro. I'm doing great this morning. It's a game day, so always wake up a little bit more excited on these days here. But graciously appreciative of that intro there. And, I think that's a credit to my mom, my grandpa, my family for raising me that way. So I know they'd be proud to hear that.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it tremendously. And every time, like, I think about, hey, I got to have Stefan back on the show, the first thing that hits my mind is, why hasn't he been on already? So I will do a better job of making sure that you and I talk a lot more if you're up for it, because I appreciate the conversations and I appreciate what you're doing. So I'm happy to have you here, and I value the time. We got to 100 victories. I know that there's plenty more to come. But bring me into that moment. Did you celebrate it? Did you know about it? I've talked to coaches that they kind of know going in that, hey, I'm 2 away, I'm 7 away, it can happen. There's other coaches where you tell them and they're like, I had no idea. So did you know that it was coming? Did you know that this was a moment that could be here? And did you let yourself celebrate it at all?
Yeah, so at the end of last season, someone in our department bumped me and kind of nudged and said, hey, you're, I think 10 away at that point. And, I kind of forgot about it because the summertime, you got a lot going on. You're recruiting and you're doing all these other things to run your program. And right around the holidays this year, my sister, my niece gifted me with a pin that had a number 100 on it. So they kind of reminded me and refreshed me rather quickly that I was a few wins away. And then I know I think our players knew about it. And after the game, fortunate to get the win there. Our athletic department recognized me at half court with my family, which was really nice. And then the parents of our program surprised me downstairs in our room where we usually get together and, had the big balloons and the cake and all those type of things. And then our players presented me with a nice little plaque that they put together. So I felt the love. I felt the joy. As a coach, you always try to prepare for your team to get a win. So I kind of dismissed it being a big milestone in the lead up. But after it occurred, I was trying to be present and just graciously appreciate all the people that were around me.
Well, and the thing that they were prepared, right? Because you never know, like you think like, hey, it can happen tonight, but you don't know if it's going to happen. So for them to get the balloons, get the cake, have everything ready, honor you at the court, know like, okay, if your family's going to be here and whatnot. I mean, that's a lot of faith. That's a lot of faith in you and in your student athletes that, hey, we're going to be prepared for this. Because you think about it, like what if they brought the cake, brought the balloons, had everything ready, had everything at center court, all this stuff set up, and they did this and it didn't happen, and then they do it the next game, and then they do it the next game, and they continue to go. But what does it mean to you that, these families, these parents, the school, like they had the faith in you of like, hey, we're setting all this stuff up. We have no idea what's going to happen for the next 2 hours, but we believe. I mean, there's something to be said about the faith of it all.
You're 100% about that. That faith, that pride, that unity, all those things combined is something I'm really appreciative of. And, it starts with our HWS community, whether it's our support staff or our president, everyone being aligned with the same values and mission. And then it bleeds out even to the Geneva community as well. On that Saturday, we were recognizing as like a Geneva Day. So we had the Geneva YMCA here with a lot of kids running around the gym. We also had the Geneva Public Library here, who we've had a tremendous partnership with for the last 8 years. So just to see that sense of people in the crowd wanting to show up to support a Division III program is really cool. Me being kind of the backdrop of it and being able to have something to celebrate additionally was awesome. But I just think, everyone wanting to be there for each other speaks to the HWS experience. We are a little bit of a smaller college, but you get to actually genuinely know people here. You know people by their first name. You get to have conversations, and that bleeds out to family members and parents of our program. So all that stuff combined is something I'm really appreciative of. I try to cherish it because I know not every place is like that. And we try to make sure we continue to recruit high character people that value that sense of community, right? Yeah. Today's college athletics, so much of it is very transactional. I'm very fortunate that we are at a place that's a 4-year experience still. And when you get these type of milestones and opportunities, it's not just for me, but it's for everyone, right? There's a guy who's a sophomore on our team who's going to maybe remember us celebrating this for the rest of his life. So those are the things that are really, really fun. And our guys are going to get celebrated throughout their career here too. So all those moments are something that we all can really appreciate and enjoy together.
Yeah, and you touched on something that I love about Division III, and I was recruited Division III. Like, there's, with all these changes that have happened in the NCAA and really outside of the NCAA, because you wonder what the NCAA has any control over anymore, if they ever did have control over anything. And we see NIL and the transfer portal and all this stuff, and we see realignment and constant shifting and changing, and institutions are jumping places, coaches are jumping places, players are going to 4 colleges in 4 years, 4 colleges in 5 years. They're asking for 6 and 7 years of eligibility when there's no reason for it. Like, there's no medical reason. I just want another year. So, I mean, it's crazy. And I've told guys, I'm like, are you getting your doctorate? Like, you've been here for 7 years. Like, you should be a doctor at this point. Like, we shouldn't be working on your bachelor's still. But if you keep transferring, those credits don't always go over. So, you could be a 7-year trying to get a bachelor's degree. And then here we are with Division III, where, like you said, it's a 4-year institution. You get an education. It's about the sport. It's not about the money. It's not about how much can you pay me and what can you give me. And I'm sure there's some NIL that comes in, and there's some transfer portal stuff that happens. But I've talked to coaches about this, Jason Leone recently too, at Oswego State, about there's purity. There's still like I love this sport and that's why I'm playing it. So to speak to that side of it, when we talk about Hobart and William Smith colleges and the value of an education and the value of still getting to coach kids that are there because they breathe the sport.
Oh, absolutely. And I think for us here, it's not just the basketball program that has that sense of joy and understanding of that process. It's our whole athletic department. It's also our whole campus. Yeah. We're roughly 40% of our student body here are student athletes, right? So almost every other person that you're interacting with is lifting weights, is training, is getting ready for competition, is having meetings with a coach or watching film or analyzing data. So they understand the place that they're in their lives, right? And they want to maximize that experience throughout this 4 years here. But what I truly am aware of, and our athletes are, is like they're invested in this place, right? They want to figure out how they can make their field hockey team better, right? Or their hockey program or their basketball program better. And they want to figure out how they can go from being an underclassman to eventually maybe a captain their senior year, right? Like all of those values that I think sports are about, we get to invest in our student athletes and allow them to do that. So it's a department-wide thing here. I think the cream of the crop right now is Hobart Hockey, who's done a tremendous job, obviously, of winning multiple national championships the last couple of years. And they really set the tone for our athletic department.
Yeah, and when you look at Hobart and William Smith, it's this unique thing, right? Because you have the Hobart Statesmen, you have the William Smith Herons, and you have sports that are on the Hobart side, sports that are on the William Smith side. So somebody that doesn't know, when we talk about Hobart and William Smith colleges and like bringing this all together, it's like a 2-in-1. It's like a package deal. It's something cool and unique. To somebody that doesn't know Hobart and William Smith colleges, how would you describe like what this is like to have essentially 2 athletic departments, but you're within this like greater umbrella? It's a very unique situation that we have here in upstate New York.
For sure. And I'll give you a little bit of history because I think that paints the picture a little clearer. Hobart was founded in 1822 right here on the shores of Seneca Lake, so a perfect place to go to college at that time. And then in 1908, William Smith College was founded. And right around World War II, a lot of colleges were going through kind of financial struggles. Mirrors kind of what we're dealing with right now. Places were closing and trying to figure that out. Yeah. So back in the late 40s, early 50s, we decided to be a coordinate system. And what that means is we'd operate as one institution by still allowing each place to carry on their heritage and their logos and their mascots. So we've been able to function that way, for the last 75, 80 years now. And it's been great just because, we wear the purple and orange, they wear the green and white. We have 2 separate class presidents, so our representation of leadership is there. And then the beautiful thing, though, is that just from a college experience, it all feels like one school, right? Guys are wearing William Smith T-shirts, women are wearing Hobart sweatshirts. We share the same dining halls, go to the same classrooms together. But that underlying understanding of history is really, really cool. I think it shapes our experience here. William Smith, obviously being an all-women's college at one point, did a great job of being able to, raise future women in the professional world. And then Hobart, we're one of the 50th oldest colleges in the entire United States, right? So just thinking about the people that have walked across our sidewalks, right? Or, swam in Seneca Lake. It's just a really, really cool college experience that allows us to be really linked as one institution. And I think that's what makes it special here.
Well, and one thing I want to make a note of on the William Smith side that I absolutely love, because it came in about 3 years ago to high schools, and there was a few high schools in Central New York that said, we're going to do this sport. We're going to bring it in. We believe in it. We believe it has value. And then other schools started jumping on. And then the question was, okay, are colleges going to jump on? And then it was, okay, can the Olympics do this? And I'm talking about flag football. William Smith has flag football at the collegiate level. What does that mean to you to see that, this evolution of flag football, this evolution of women being able to get out there to play this sport, to love, this and to show their passion for football? I have covered flag football in Central New York with some of the pioneer schools that brought it in, and it's been awesome, insane. I love it. I can't get enough of it. And I played flag football. I mean, I had a flag football league against listeners of my show, and I was playing quarterback. I mean, and me, my not, giant 300-pound self by any stretch of the imagination, I was playing defensive line trying to sack the quarterback, hoping that he timed out so I could get after him. So, I mean, I love flag football, and I'd love to I know you're a basketball coach, but I love that Hobart and William Smith colleges has that sport.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I think our whole campus community is pumped for the opportunity here. It's a fun sport to watch, as you mentioned. And then the beautiful thing is it gives women an opportunity to compete at the collegiate level. And I'm very appreciative of the fact that our colleges were able to invest in that early. We've already hired a head coach. That head coach has already got a couple of recruits committed, one of which is a quarterback, and if I have it right, was the New York State Player of the Year. So that program is already set up to be on a great trajectory of success. And I just think it's going to be fun, even for our basketball players to go out and watch those games and cheer them on. It's going to be an exciting sport. And as you mentioned, it's a very rapidly growing sport throughout the country. So I think it's only going to get more popular as the years come.
Yeah, and going back to your sport and what you've been able to do, to go back to the Statesmen and the Hobart men's basketball team, I mean, we're looking at a season that you're 10-3 overall. And as we look in recent history here, you have won 7 of your last 9 games. Bring me into this run. I know the Ithaca game was close, 85-88, but just what you've seen out of your team, and that we've seen 7 of these 10 wins come so recently. And you've been on the winning side of things, obviously, far more than you've been on the side of losing. And you've had some runs of 3 in a row, 4 in a row. So just bring me into kind of where the team is at right now.
Yeah, this team has a great growth mindset, and that's what I love about these guys. They're very aware of where we are and where we need to get to. When we break down film or we walking through stuff in practice, they're like, yep, gotcha, coach. We knew you were going to say that, right? And anytime you're a coach and you have that level of alignment, that helps a lot, just because I think it speeds up your growth. And those wins come from teams that are able to get better throughout the season. So I think we've been able to see that. We've already crossed the halfway point of our year. So our mindset is we need to continue to get better throughout league play. The one thing that I admire about this group is their ability to commit to the journey. We started this season back on July 24th when our guys came back to campus for our training camp before heading to Europe. So, you think about where we have to get to July 24th all the way to March, right? That's a long time in terms of commitment. And these guys still show up every day. I don't know if you can hear in the background, but guys are in here getting shots up. I got 9 guys in the gym getting prepared for the game tonight. So just that ability to commit to the process has allowed us to have some success. But I feel like we're still playing at a B level. And my job as a coach is to always critique and figure out other ways that we can grow. So at the end of the season, we're playing A-level basketball.
And, you and I spoke when you became a head coach, and now you're 100 wins in. So that journey for you, what have you learned about yourself? What have you learned about leadership? And going off of what you said, what did you learn about the difference between being a B leader or an A leader?
Yeah, I think, first of all, for me, it always starts with your staff and your assistant coaches. I've been blessed to have great guys here throughout the seasons. It starts with Dennis Peisnack, who has been at Hobart since 1987 as an assistant coach. He's been a part of 560 wins during his time here. So that's a great resource for me to be able to talk to and be able to ask questions about, because, we have great coaches in our league, and, we've had turnover in our league. So new coaches are bringing in new styles. So, as we're preparing for opponents, I may say, hey, Coach Peisnack, what do you see here? And, Dan, to be honest, he may say, hey, Steph, in 94, we did this against that style, right? So just to have that basketball acumen with me every day is helpful. I've had Sean Smiley as our assistant coach in year one, who's the head coach at SUNY Fredonia now. We've had Ben Horowitz here, Charlie Evangelista, Tim Lewis. So all of those guys have made me a better coach. They challenge me, they support me, and I think that's what it takes to be a great high-level functioning staff. Obviously, our players have been able to commit to everything I've asked of them. I'm very demanding. I know that about myself. But I think throughout the years, I've been able to become even more of a player-friendly type of coach. Whether it's changing our workouts, changing our schedule, getting more input from them so they can have a better understanding of how they can be efficient in their development and their growth. But I think personally, looking at me, man, and my leadership, I've always tried to learn more and grow. I'm always hungry to ask questions and challenge myself. If you look at the way we played basketball on the floor in my first year to even year 4, it changed, and to where I am now, our style has changed. So we're always evolving. And I think that's a sign of a great program and a great coach, is that, we're always trying to not necessarily stay ahead of the curve, but be in a space that we are growing. And if you watch our film, you can see our teams changing year in and year out.
Yeah, and you said something that, is huge, willing to learn. They say when you stop learning, you kind of start dying. And, to be willing to understand that change happens, you have to, there could be something that you love and it's worked forever. And, I liken it to, I was talking to a business owner before, and I went to him and I said, I do this thing where I interview your team members and I tell their stories. Well, the owner didn't want to be on camera, didn't understand it, didn't like it, gets nervous. And so he was like, yeah, I mean, we could try it, but he was reluctant. And then I'm telling these stories, and they're beautiful and they're amazing and they're real and they're gritty. And then he was like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore because I don't like being on camera. I said, but you're not thinking about your people. It's not about you. You don't have to be on camera, but they're telling their stories. They're doing that. And, when you talk about where you sit as a leader, to say like, hey, I want to play this. I like this defense, but that defense doesn't work in the Liberty League that well. They figured it out. So you can either sit here and say, hey, this is the defense that I like to run. This is what I like to play. This is what I'm comfortable with. Or you can challenge yourself to learn something else that is going to be more successful. And I always find the coaches that win more championships and rise higher are the ones that are able to take a step back and not say you're wrong, but to say that you have to ad lib. You have to be open-minded. You have to look to other things. So can you point to a moment in your career so far where you've taken a step back and said, you know what, this worked for 30 games, but I got to change it for the 31st game, or this defense has worked for the last couple of years, but I've seen the trends and I got to be prepared to shift into this. I got to teach my guys this. Can you point to one of those moments?
Yeah, definitely. I know even in year 1, when we were in the NCAA tournament, we're preparing to play Jim Calhoun and St. Joe's, and, we didn't play any possessions of zone throughout the whole season. We're in the NCAA tournament, and we put in a little triangle and 2 just so it's a little different and funky, right? Maybe something they haven't seen. And we probably played it for 10 possessions of that game. And, you look at those point per possessions, it was really good for our group to do that. And then even the day later, we're playing Springfield and, we're down a couple of possessions and we need a basket. And, I really don't call a play. I just go right into the huddle and I talk to Eden Flirzard and Tucker Lesko, who both were seniors and had played since their freshman year. They had this little signal they would do to each other, like this type of thing. And it was kind of their own little play, right? And so I walk in the huddle, I say, you two are going to run this, right? And they just smile, they go out there and we execute and we score. So just empowering our players to be able to go do what they do. And then even, evolving into that point now, looking at us and, we've been more of a rebounding half-court team, out physical you, out tough you. And then this year, we're playing with a lot of pace. We're throwing the ball ahead, getting early opportunities to score. So I think those moments there are the ones that, stick out. But if I really sat with it, I probably could give you 20, 30 or so, just because, again, our coaches challenge me. That idea might be we change our pregame meal, right? Or we change our lifting time. So there's a lot of evolution within our program throughout these years.
Yeah, and I think that speaks to the success is being able to evolve. And there's two types of people. There's people that see change and run, and there's people that see change and say, okay, what am I going to do to make sure that I respond positively? But the one thing we can't stop is change. Stefan Thompson here with us on his 100th win and moving forward from here. Before we let you go here, I want to take a look at the Liberty League. We have Union, Vassar, as well as RPI, St. Lawrence, Ithaca, Skidmore, and Clarkson, RIT, Bard, and of course Hobart within this men's basketball side of things in the Liberty League. What can you say about the strength of the conference and just what you've learned and what you take away from the Liberty League? Because for those of you that don't know, D3 has over 40 conferences. There's over 400 teams. It's extremely difficult to be an at-large team in the NCAA Division III men's basketball tournament. And so the league that you're in, it can help you, or maybe sometimes it can hurt you. What can you say about what the Liberty League does to challenge you, and why you think it's a good league to show the committee, hey, if we win it, we're in. But if we don't win it, look at the value of what we have. What can you say to the Liberty League side of things?
Yeah, I think our league is very deep, whether you're looking at a team's overall record or not. But if you just put on the tape, there's a lot of good teams in our league. And there's teams that are finishing 7th in our league and beating other teams in other conferences, right, by double digits. So it speaks to, what we were able to do. We have high-level coaches here, veteran coaches, new coaches, but they're all running different systems. So our teams are battle-tested throughout the year. We've seen different styles and had to adjust. I think we have great players throughout the league. Vassar had an All-American last year as a sophomore. There's a guy in Union who might be an All-American this year. So there's great players everywhere. And the other thing that I think is a competitive advantage for us is the fact that we play back-to-back. Friday, Saturday is our league schedule. So when we do get to the NCAA tournament, we're used to that quick turnaround, not just the playing piece of it all, but the preparation. And I think if, you give a Liberty League team a chance, we're going to showcase what we can do in the NCAA tournament just because we're battle tested throughout the year. And I think that makes our league so much fun and so enjoyable to compete in. I know our athletes appreciate it. I know our coaches appreciate it as well.
Yeah, that coming here from Stefan Thompson, our top dog of the week, celebrating everything that he has had in his journey to get to where he is. We have plenty more to talk about, plenty more things coming up. You got a road game. You got a couple road games coming up here, and you have one tonight. So I do want to let you get over to your players who are out there getting shots up and make sure that you got everything you need for tonight. But I do want to thank you for the work that you've been doing. And I know that you've had this being the 5th season playing. There was the pandemic year that was canceled, but you've had the opportunity to really grow at Hobart and become what you are today. And so your final message, your final word on what you want to say to Hobart, taking a chance on you back, right before the pandemic, and just what you've learned in the process of that chance that they gave you.
This is a place I love. It's my alma mater. I showed up here at 18 years old and, had some great memories as a player, and, I was fortunate to come back as an assistant and now obviously as a head coach. But it's a community that I've grown to make new relationships with. And I still feel at home. Obviously, growing up in Syracuse and going to CBA, I always tell people back at home is that, Geneva, New York is the furthest west you can go and still stay in the 315, right? So I still feel at home every day when I'm going to Wegmans and doing all these other things. But, Hobart's always going to be a special place to me because I graduated here. But it's cool to see that these new memories and milestones can continue to be created. And I'm always going to be just appreciative of them. And Dan, I thank you for just offering platforms to people like myself and others to share our stories, but also just collaborate. Good people want to be around good people. So thank you for these opportunities.
Well, it means a lot to me, and I will say selfishly that, the goatee and the face, I respect the facial hair of certain people in our community, and you got the good look here. I'm like, maybe I need to change it up now that I've seen Stefan kind of rock what he's rocking. But go out there, have a good time with your game today. You and I will talk soon. I appreciate the compliment, but I send it right back to you. I scour this earth looking for good people to put a spotlight on because everyone's story should be told. And it's my honor and my privilege that when I reach out to you, you always reach back. So thank you for that. Thank you for what you've done. Congratulations on 100. But I know that this is barely scratching the surface, and I look forward to seeing you on the rest of this journey that's just begun in your career at Hobart and in your career as a head coach.
Thank you. I always leave this with CBA guys. St. John the Baptist de La Salle.
Pray for us.
Live Jesus in our hearts.
Forever.
Take care, brother.
Take care, man. I'll talk to you soon. God bless.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See you. That coming once again from Stefan Thompson here on the broadcast, where sports meets life on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, celebrating him as our top dog of the week after his 100th career victory, and that's all coming at Hobart as their head coach for the Statesmen. We will be jumping into our final piece of this week, which is my one-on-one conversation live with Jeff Lonczak, which is coming up in just a moment here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora after this fast break from inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Stay with us.
Avicoli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicollis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on in to the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K-9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K-9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's K9 ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. You just heard from them, and of course you could go to them for sales and service Monday through Saturday, and you could see them anytime online by going to GreatLakesHondaCity.com. I am in picture with somebody who is no stranger to the broadcast, good friend of mine, and a massive Chicago Bears fan. I picked the Chicago Bears, and I shut the game off in the wild card thinking to myself, don't you dare let me lose this prediction. And then I check my phone and I go, how did they come back? They scored 25 points in the fourth quarter. It was like 25-6. Insane what the Chicago Bears did. Jeff Lonczak, longtime tennis player, far better than me. We haven't tested it, because I know he'd probably in the beginning, go easy. What did they say in that one movie, the Internship, where they have Owen Wilson and Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn. And Vince Vaughn is trying to learn about all these like things and analytics and this stuff about Google. And he talks to Josh Gad's character, and he said, you teaching me this is kind of like teaching a child the alphabet. He said it's like teaching a kid one letter. That's how it would be if Jeff and I were on the tennis court together. But on the basketball court, that's my place. So he is here with us to talk about his new chapter, as well as the Chicago Bears fandom that he has. I am so happy to have him here with us. God is great because that guy and I cross paths. So Jeff, what's up? How you doing?
What's up, man? Thank you, Dan, for having me back on. It's a pleasure to catch up.
Yeah, man, and it's been a minute. You and I talked a lot when you were, at a certain place doing a certain thing. So you made a decision in your life to move into the next chapter. Just bring me into, first and foremost, why you wanted to jump into this chapter.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was probably a year and a half coming. I probably should have let go about a year and a half ago. Support was lacking. Bob being gone. It's not as if Bob hired me, but Bob was and is an incredible athletic director and someone who was a champion for all the coaches there. And you wait and you hang out and you're hoping things get better and you try to be positive about all that. But at some point in time, you kind of got to say, maybe this isn't the right fit. So yeah, in terms of new chapter, right now I'm doing a lot with my properties, trying to make sure everything's good with them, incorporating, subdividing one of them. So it's a lot of that. I really want to get my passion back for tennis. That's why I ever started coaching. And some of that was lost along the way, unfortunately. So yeah, I got to get that back, and yeah, I'm looking forward to all of it. That's for sure.
Yeah, and you said, and I appreciate you being candid, but you talked about the fact that hey, I was in a place where I kind of felt like I lost the love a little bit, and that happens sometimes where we have love and care for something, and then we cross paths with certain people or certain places, and we have to refine that. I mean, you love tennis, and it makes me sad to hear that, because like I don't think that there's, and I know you might laugh when I say this, or you might shake your head. I don't know if I've, like, when you research it, you talk about like age group and where you are in national rankings and all this stuff. I don't know if I've met a better tennis player, and not just a coach, but somebody who's like stayed so true to the game and loves the game. And it breaks my heart to hear you say that. But I've been in places in my life where, I kind of lost the love for something because of stuff that had happened, and I had to re-find it. What can you say to that journey of it? Like, could you be a coach again? What are you doing to maybe fall in love with tennis again?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, yeah, so when it becomes a job, like it was always my passion, and it is my passion, and it became a job in some ways. I was always getting invited to play in leagues, and I'd find myself in those leagues and focusing on the competitive piece of it, which being a coach, that piece always came out and came forward, sometimes more than you'd like. So for me, like, taking a little bit of a break, I mean, it's almost impossible because it's in my blood, and I already got people trying to get me back on the court and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, just trying to take a break and figure it out. And I can't foresee a world in which I'm not coaching at some point in time again, wherever that may be. Even back to teaching, one of my favorite things and is large camps of kids and hanging out and teaching them, and that's like so much fun, and I can't see myself not doing that.
Yeah, and I mean, and I look forward to what that's going to look like as you step forward. But in the meantime, I mean, people have to remember this too. You got married, I mean, you gave me some hope that there's still people out there. So like I had the opportunity to go out to Pizza Man with you and your wife to be at the time. And so, I mean, for you, you know what it's like to be a dad, and now you're a husband, and like you've added a dog to the family. She has her family, and it's all kind of come together. So with all due respect to this new chapter, like there's been a lot of great things that have happened beyond the world of sports, and we know that Wake Up Call is where sports meets life. So share that just what these last few years have been like to blend your family to your wife's family, to get married and to create this life together, because that's a beautiful blessing from God. And that was happening, in the background of the sports world, but it's in the foreground of your life.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm totally lucky to have met Rebecca, and blended our families together. And yeah, I can't imagine where I'd be without her. I mean, she can give me the strength to make any decision, that's based on my professional life. So it's huge, and the support's 100%. And yeah, I mean that also does has something to do with it. I mean, from late September to mid December, it's the road, and then from basically now again it becomes the road. So I'm always on the road. So I miss her and the family immensely, and that definitely had a piece to go into that. But yeah, I totally feel blessed and lucky, to be where I'm at.
You said that you had total support from your wife. So going through this process of like being a coach, and you weren't just a coach of one team, you were a coach of men's and women's tennis. You were overseeing both teams, which, in my opinion, you should be paid two salaries for that. So, I mean, when you're going through that and you're doing that and you're recruiting and you're practicing and you're watching film and you're on the road and you're doing your own tennis stuff and, training yourself because you love it so deeply, when you said you had full support, like what was that conversation like with Rebecca to say, I've been here for a long time, I've been in this position at this place, I feel like I need to step away, I feel like I need to start a new chapter? Just bring me into that, because not everybody has that support at home where they can sit down and have an honest conversation about, this is how I feel, this is where I'm at, and you want to have somebody that's there for you.
Yeah. No, I mean, to be honest, it wasn't much of a conversation because, like I mentioned, like it's not as if there's been many times that I thought about stepping away, specifically from Lemoyne. And we've talked about that. I've mentioned it. You start feeling this way, and then I feel like I wasn't giving my best self at practice. At 6 a.m. practice. At 7 p.m. matches. So it's like, what am I doing this for? It sure isn't for the money. You know what I mean? So it's like, I've always chatted and made sure that she knew my feelings, but it was one of those things where, it was kind of coming. So, I mean, she knew it, and it was a matter of, was I actually going to do it this time? Because I thought about it for a while. I mean, there are a million reasons why, it wasn't working for me. So yeah, she was just always there to say, yeah, whenever you're ready to do it, I trust you. I know you'll be able to figure out whatever you want to do. And if that means taking some time to do it, I mean, that's what it is. So, and that is what it is now. And I mean, there's still a lot of ducks that I need to have a lot of ducks in the road just in life to be set, I guess, financially. So it's still working for sure.
Rebecca's got to have a sister or a cousin or a friend, because that support is awesome. And I appreciate that so very much. So, I mean, for you, I mean, obviously facilities are important. You had to navigate when you were at Lemoyne. You didn't have tennis courts on campus. There was the thought that there was going to be, if Bob was there, there was a plan in place, and they're still not there. And you've had to play on, I mean, you don't play any home matches. You don't have anything at home. You can't practice at home. And obviously you've had places that have been great in the community, and they've been great partners, but that's a tough sell. So as you look to the future and you look at coaching again, could it be high school? Could it be like you said, just teaching and teaching, different ages and whatnot. Like when you think about it right now, kind of raw, is it you lean more toward the teaching side and individual and group, like kind of training? Do you look at being a high school coach? Do you look at being a college coach? I mean, kind of what your thoughts are, and do the facilities matter to you for the future? Are you like, hey, wherever I go, like I want a court where here's my office and it's right out there?
Yeah, no, good questions. Yeah, so I mean, I am a college coach. I mean, that is what I see myself as. I mean, at the end of the day, just because I was a head coach for so long in Lemoyne, I don't think that necessarily means that I couldn't be an assistant too at other places, because a lot of that, I feel like lends itself to some of my strengths. The recruiting piece is kind of a strength of mine, something that I love to do. Like I could it's still hard for me to not just like follow players in different ITF junior tournaments and stuff like that. So trying to stop that so much because it's pretty irrelevant at this point. But yeah, that being said, yeah, the facility thing. So that was the tough part is it's 6 a.m. practice, which for me means, 5 a.m. driving to Syracuse. And every single morning it was a blizzard, So, I'm up at 4 to get there to practice, and I'm on time. I'm always there, and then just the way the matches were scheduled, it's like Friday night at 8:00. So you're sitting there waking up at 4:00 in the morning all week. And then on the weekends, I'm getting back at, 1 a.m. Driving in a blizzard again. So it's like, wait a minute, like this doesn't jive. So yeah, facilities on campus are definitely a big thing, and something where, I don't think I would take a position unless it came with that.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, you've worked, I mean, you love it. You have a passion for it. And like I said, it breaks my heart. I get it, because I've been there with certain things, but it breaks my heart to hear you say like I have to find my way back to it. Have you played it all? Have you kind of gone out there and just put yourself on the court, shut your brain off, went out there with a friend or with Rebecca or just, taken some time? Or have you like stepped away and said like, hey, in this process of me finding, my next home collegiately, I haven't played? Like what's this time period been like for you?
Yeah, I've got out there and hit with one of my buddies who's like a major advocate for tennis in Syracuse. He captains a bunch of teams, and they're going to San Diego in March. He wants me to come out for nationals. Actually, to help him coach a little bit. He'll be playing too. So yeah, and then I guess he's kind of trying to get me ready for the summer. We got another probably national opportunity. Got a really good team. Of guys, most of them younger than me, but really solid players. So I mean, and I play and hit, and I find myself enjoying it. I find myself, getting angry at myself for missing a shot or whatever. So that's normal. But yeah, it's tough, because some part of me does think that maybe I shouldn't be doing any of that, just to kind of heal, I guess, a little bit better. But then it's like, okay, maybe I can, frame this as, all right, well, at least I'm getting a good cardio workout, at least I'm training, and I still do enjoy it at times. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I'm kind of like, I'm confused about it, but at the same time, like, I still like the Australian Open's coming up. Like, I'm probably gonna view some of it, that isn't at 4 a.m. But yeah, so I mean, there's that too. So it's I don't know. It's like it's your life. It's in your life. It's your blood. Like, I don't know how to really step away. So I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and when you kind of go through this process of trying to figure everything out with the sport itself, and finding that love for it again. I mean, you've recruited all over the world, and it's been amazing to see. It's been amazing to watch. I mean, I look at the women's team that you had at Lemoyne, the men's team you had, and selfishly, I'm looking and I'm like, ooh, Spain, Italy, like this is where my family's from, and but I mean, you are willing to go anywhere and just dig and find and put these, United Nation-esque teams together, like all these different languages, all these different backgrounds. I mean, for you, you've built so many bridges, you built a network, and that doesn't go away. So for you, I mean, are you finding in this kind of healing process, are you finding like that the support and the love of your student athletes, of those that have come through your programs, of these bridges that you've built with people all around the world? I mean, you're a relationship person, not a transactional person. So I can imagine that in this process, the relationships you built mean a lot, because I mean, Jeff, I know that you won't give yourself the credit, but like your recruiting footprint is the entire it's the world. I mean, you have been so dedicated to this and so good at getting people to believe and come from 15, however many hours it takes, a 7-hour flight, a 9-hour flight. I mean, I just took that flight to Rome. That was 7.5 hours and 9.5 back. And I mean, you've been willing to do it. So do those relationships kind of help you through this process? And the fact that like, hey, whenever I want to get back into this thing, I've already built those bridges.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the toughest part is, yeah, I mean, the players, you almost feel like, you feel like you're, I don't know, betraying them in a way, because I recruited them and I built these relationships with them and their families in some case. And my men's class this year was amazing. I brought in a kid from another kid from Northern Italy that's really good, and a kid from Toronto that's incredible, and a kid from Sugar Land, Texas, who's awesome. So it's like, yeah, that's a tough part. But yeah, no, I've had some former players reach out to me and just say kind of like, I guess how they felt, and yeah, that's been comforting. And there's others that I still have to catch up with. And at the end of the day, I mean, there's some that I want to go out. I want to go to Paris to visit some of my favorite guys from out there, and I want to go to Bologna, Italy to visit one of the favorite players I ever coached. That's the tough part. That's where you kind of like, it's almost like they got the hooks in you, man. And how can you leave? That's all. Whenever I was feeling like that, it's like, yeah. Wait, how can I go? I got these guys, I got these girls that have been coming here. They trust me. Their parents trust me. It's like, yeah. So I mean, I guess that kind of like takes you through the process, and yeah, I got to heal from that. It's tough.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, like, if anybody knows who you are and the caliber of human being you are, they know that you're not going to make a decision halfway, and you're going to take a lot of time thinking about it. You're going to really dig deep. You're going to look at every angle of it, and you care about people. And if I can say anything, your relationships are your relationships. And I mean, look at ours. There's changes that have happened. There's a decision that I made, and our relationship didn't change. So, I think when it comes to people that trust you and value you, I mean, when you care about somebody and you know who they are and you put your trust in them, when they make a decision for their health and well-being, you're right there by their side, because you know who they are. And, you've always been by my side, and that's from the first day that I met you that I'll never forget, at Skytop. And here comes the coach, and I'm out there with Bob, and it's, oh, maybe Jeff will come over, like maybe you can go talk to him. So I'm thinking, I'm going to go to you. I don't know if I can go on the court. I don't want to bother you. You come off the court during all these matches, and you spend not a minute. You don't shake my hand. You spend 30 minutes talking with me about the NFL during your matches and like thanking me for being there. And so that's a perfect segue into your Bears. Why do they want to give people heart attacks? Why do they wait until the last possible second? But in the same vein, are they not that good that they're never out of a game? I mean, yeah, it's scary, but at the same time, the Chicago Bears are never dead this year, which I think is pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's been something. I mean, I think, Ben Johnson is Ben Johnson. He's gonna go for it. In strange positions early on in games and in the playoffs. It doesn't matter. So, and Caleb he's got that clutch gene. When you watch him play, a lot. You can see like, how did he miss that throw? Like I've seen second string high school quarterbacks make that throw. How does he possibly miss that throw? But then he's rolling to his left and throwing off his left foot, falling away, and then he'll make the next one. And you're like, what? Like that's impossible. So yeah, man. Last time we won a playoff game, I didn't have a kid and I didn't have gray hair. So come on, man. Like this is how happy am I? Yeah, it's been so long. But yeah, this weekend's huge. With the weather being a factor, it's going to be extremely cold out there. The defense has got to play a lot better than they did, especially that first half last weekend.
Yeah, and I made a prediction at the beginning of the season. I trust my gut, and for whatever reason, like I get a feel about quarterbacks a lot, like that specific position in the NFL, and I've made a lot of predictions over the years about where I think people will be, and to their credit, not mine, they've come through, but I don't know what it is. I trust my gut, and my gut at the beginning of the season, people can go back and check the tape. I said repeatedly, I think that Caleb Williams will have the opposite of a sophomore slump. I said it. I just felt, and it was just something I felt. I was like, I just feel like he's going to have the opposite of the sophomore slump. He's going to have a better season, and I just felt like he was going to have positive in his second year. And look at what happened. They won the division, and he's been able to bring this team back, and they're never truly out of anything. I look at these games. I'm looking at some of the losses here. They lost to the Vikings by 3 points, right? And yeah, some of the losses were out of reach, but at the Packers, they lost by 5 points. Again, at the Niners, they lost by 4. To the Lions, they lost by 3. So when we look at their losses, of their 6 losses this season, 4 of those 6 losses were one possession. So my whole point is they were in these games. Then there were games that they weren't in that they came back and they won. So they've won close games, they've lost close games, but in the fourth quarter, more often than not, they're alive. What can you say to the play of Caleb Williams and to the fact that, I think that prediction's right. I think he had the exact flip of a sophomore slump. I think he shot up, and everybody that thought as a rookie that, okay, he's not what we thought he was, look at what he's done in his sophomore season. The guy's playing like a veteran. He's playing like he knows what he's doing. Ben Johnson was a massive hire for this team. This offense had a lot of the same weapons last year outside of like the Colston Lovelands of the world, and look at what they're doing with those same weapons. The defense has obviously, no matter what's happened with the defense, they've had good moments when they've had bad moments. Caleb's gotten them out of it. But I love for you to talk about Caleb Williams and just what he's done as a sophomore, where people think that you trend up and then, more often than not, a quarterback trends down in year 2. He is trending so far upward, it's like everybody's forgotten last year.
Yeah, I think he's gotten so much better in the pocket. I feel like last year he would have happy feet a lot of times and immediately kind of like get out of it quicker than he should have. Where this year I feel like he's staying in there a little bit more. Schematically, I think Johnson's just he's putting him on these waggles, he's putting on these rollouts, and that's definitely a strength of his. And clutch wise, he is just clutch. I don't know how some of the plays he makes. It's like that guy wasn't open. You think he's throwing to one guy and he's throwing to a guy over his head who's not open, and somehow it is delivered. I don't know. I've never really seen anything like it. Especially as a Bears fan. I definitely haven't seen anything like it. But yeah, no. He's you could tell his command over the huddle is huge. Last weekend he was outwardly emotional, very, very upset during a lot of the first half. Yeah. And he went in the locker room and said, hey, you know what? This is going to be the best comeback in Bears history. And guys believed, and it was.
What is it about? I mean, you know this as a coach. It's hard to beat a team twice, let alone it's hard. It's hard to beat a team the first time. If you beat them, it's hard to do it again. It's definitely hard to do it the more times you play them. They played the Packers 3 times this season. They're NFC North rivals. Every single game has been one possession, including the playoff game. They lost the first one by 7. They won the second one by 6, and then they won this last one in the comeback victory by 4. So, what can you say to that effect about just their back and forth with the Packers and how, some people counted the Packers out this season? They've been the definition of an enigma the entire time that they've had Jordan Love. It's like they're never out of anything, but sometimes they're not in things. When you start believing in the Packers, they lose. When you stop believing, they go on a run. So, what is it about Green Bay and these games that the Bears had against them that were all one possession?
Yeah, I mean that rivalry is huge, and I mean for so many years, I mean the Favre and Rodgers era, it was just constant beatdowns. I mean, I can't even remember. I can't even tell you. I mean, I looked it up recently, and I think something between Favre and Rodgers, it was something like 35-5 they were against us for it was insane. So yeah, I mean there's always that rivalry, and I think Ben Johnson specifically has really embraced it more than any of the other coaches that we've had in the past, in the recent past. So I mean, he's kind of almost made a little bit personal between him and LaFleur. Yeah. And I think when you look at that first half and how we played and how badly we played, we were sitting there playing zone defense almost the whole time, and Love was just kind of picking us apart with these. He was just dropping these balls in the buckets over the shoulders of his receivers left and right. And I think Allen made a really good adjustment at the half. He stopped doing that, and I think LaFleur got a little bit tight with his play calling. He didn't run the ball as much as he should have in the second half. I didn't understand. You got Jacobs back there, like we're not exactly, we're not a great defensive line. We haven't been for years, so it's like that's how they beat us the first time. Just Jacobs just pounding on us. And yeah, it was strange, and I think there had to be some tightness with LaFleur after the first half. And I think Johnson felt a little bit like, you know what, at this point, like let's let it rip, let's go for it, and it just worked out.
Yeah, and I mean we're looking at this upcoming matchup. Speaking here with Jeff Lonczak, longtime tennis player and head coach, and an avid fan of the Bears. So I mean, that your Bears are going up against the Rams in the divisional round, and the Rams had to come back against Carolina, scoring their final touchdown with 38 seconds left in that game in the wild card. The Bears scored their final touchdown to beat the Packers and take the lead with 1:43 left. So these are two teams that got out of the wild card round in less than 2 minutes left to play in the game. What does that say about the upcoming matchup?
Yeah, I mean, 6 weeks ago, I thought that the Rams were the best team in football. I thought they were going to win the Super Bowl. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a tough matchup. I mean, you got really good wide receivers. You got Nakua and Adams, as two really good wide receivers that we're going to have to deal with. Kyron Williams and Blake Corum are really good running backs. I just got a feeling that, being in LA, I mean, the weather is going to be an issue. That cold is just it's going to be painful. So I think that's going to be a problem. I think that there's not going to be as many points scored, as both of these teams are accustomed to. I think it's going to have to be a dirty matchup in the trenches. I mean, the interior of both offensive lines are going to be key. The defensive line, who wins those battles. Yeah, I mean, playoff football, it's one in there, and I think that it's actually gonna happen this weekend.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a fantastic matchup between these two teams, between the Chicago Bears, your Bears, and the Los Angeles Rams. Before I let you go, Jeff, we always do rapid fire. You can ask me any question, any topic, and I will do the same. We'll go back and forth. So what's your first question for me?
Well, who's winning the college championship game on Monday?
I said that I would give my prediction during this weekend.
Oh, no, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. And so I picked Indiana to win the 2 games that they won. I picked Miami to win the 3 games that they won. So I'm not surprised that either team is here. And I mean, I picked pretty much everything outside of Georgia losing to Ole Miss. So, and to those people that think that, like, coming at me that I was wrong about Indiana, I said Indiana played a weak schedule and I wanted to see them beat a good team. How is that not a factual statement? And they beat a good team, and I've picked them to win their last 2 games. I never said Indiana was bad. I said they had a weak schedule, and they did have a weak schedule. Their last 4 games that they played were against the last 4 games they played in the regular season in the Big Ten were against teams that had a combined record of 1-17 in the Big Ten. How am I wrong that that's a weak schedule? So they played a weak schedule. They didn't play a tier 1 until Ohio State, and Ohio State's only claim to fame was the win over Texas, which people were saying Texas was nothing. And I was like, well, if Texas is nothing, then Ohio State's nothing, because that was their key win. So, I mean, again, I cover nationally and I task myself to dig deep into this stuff and really analyze it more so than I ever have. Like, as the years go by, it's more and more analysis. I release my own top 25 now. So if you come at me to say, what are you going to say about Indiana, Dan? I still agree that they had a weak schedule. I still agree that that their best games were Oregon and Iowa in the regular season. I still agree that they had to beat a tier 1. And I said, once they beat a tier 1, I will respect where they are. And as soon as they do that, then I'll say, okay, they're for real. And as soon as they did that, I said they were for real. So I've stood by every point that I've made. I will preface with that because some people just want to fight. As far as Indiana against Miami, my knee jerk is to pick Indiana because they don't make a lot of mistakes. But it is so hard for me to go against Miami because I feel like one of the only people that was for Miami in these games. And not for them like, oh, it's my team, but like believed that they could beat Texas A&M on the road. Believed that they could beat Ohio State, the reigning national champion. Believed that they could beat Ole Miss. So, I mean, I'm stuck because I think Indiana's going to win, but I also respect the heck out of Miami. So, feet to the fire, I'll say Indiana, but I'm going to come down to the wire in my prediction and my score and everything because, I mean, Miami has Akeem Mesidor and Reuben Bain Jr. and Keontae Scott and so on and so. I mean, they have all these guys, and I mean, there's a really good chance that we're going to see like 2 of their guys drafted in the first round from their defense. And Mark Fletcher, I mean, hello. And then on the other side, you got Roman Hemby and Kalon Black and Fernando. By the way, nobody I have not heard anybody talk about this. Carson Beck and Fernando Mendoza both have a 73% completion percentage, and Carson Beck is 73.3 and Mendoza 73. But they talk about Carson Beck is like a poor man's Matt Stafford, and Fernando Mendoza is the next coming of Jesus. Like, I mean, how is there such a discrepancy in how we talk about these guys when they're both really good? And I mean, it's wild to me. And the running games are fantastic. The defense is fantastic. The kicking game's better on Indiana's side. So I'm going to say Indiana, but it's really hard for me to not pick Miami because I've gone with the dark horse the whole way. So it's tough. It's a tough question. My question back to you, if you were playing on Indiana or Miami right now, if you could choose which team you played for, having seen them both play, having watched their roads to get to where they are, what team would you rather be on, Indiana or Miami?
Oh, that's easy. That's definitely Miami. It's I like Cristobal. I mean, Cignetti looks like he's getting a tooth pulled. Like, I mean, during these games, I mean, he just looks like he's in pain, and I get it. I mean, you're squeezing so hard for every single play to win, but I feel like I get the guy's an incredible coach, and his attention to detail is probably second to none. But I feel like I'd rather play for Cristobal, and I'd rather be a Hurricane.
Okay, fair enough. What's your next question?
All right, okay. More predictions. Maybe. Hopefully, I'm not out of turn again. Broncos, Bills. Who do you got?
Hard to go against Josh Allen. I think the Broncos have the best defense in the country. And I said Bo Nix was going to be the starter of the Broncos. I picked him to be drafted by the Broncos. I got to give Papa Joe credit because Papa Joe talked to me about him well before I brought him up, knew all about him. Then I got on the Bo Nix train. Then we both predicted he would be drafted by the Broncos. Then I predicted in the preseason, before they named him the starter, that he would be the second best quarterback in his draft class behind Jaden Daniels, and they both made the playoffs. So I've been riding the Bo Nix train before Bo Nix was named a starting quarterback, and I have the utmost respect for Josh Allen. I want to see Buffalo do it. I think they're capable. I think they're gonna. I really do. I think they're going to gut it out and figure it out. I'm not going to be surprised. Like if the Broncos beat the Bills, like the Broncos have a really great chance of going to the Super Bowl. They're fantastic. They can play you in a 16-13 game. They can play you in a game where they have to score more points. But I think, I don't know. I feel like this is a Buffalo year. And I already said to Jimmer Sikowski of Chick-fil-A Cicero, who's a brother to me, I said, Jimmer, you beat my team, so now you have to win the Super Bowl. So I'm going to pick Buffalo to win, but I outrageously respect Denver. And it's like the proof is in the show. I mean, 2 years of broadcasts of me just talking about this Denver team. But yeah, I'm going to pick Buffalo on the road. I know it's a tough one, but I'm going to pick them. My question back to you, will my Jaguars make a Super Bowl in my life?
I'm going to say yes on that one. I feel, man, they should have won that game. I mean, I felt like that they defensively they're a better unit than Buffalo. I feel like obviously Allen stood on his head at times. He just did some things that were just uncanny. But I feel like the pieces are pretty much there. I feel like they're a small step away, and I think they'll do it sooner than later.
That coming from Jeff Lonczak. I'll have you back on the show very soon. I always appreciate the time, and you know that I'll tell you this off the air and on the air, and you know I don't say these 3 words unless I mean them to anybody, but you know that I love you, and you've always been in my corner. You have always been there for me from day 0 when I was a total stranger to you. So I can honestly tell you that on the show and off the show, on the air, off the air, professionally and personally, you're one of the people that I met chasing my dreams that I deeply respect and appreciate. They say that your true friends are the ones that stick up for you in rooms that you're not in. And I believe that you would do that for me, and I would do that for you in a heartbeat. So I love you. And that's the best way I can end this conversation.
No, I love you too, man. Thanks so much for having me on and catching back up. I miss you.
I miss you too. Well, we will get together when I come back from the championship game.
Perfect. Enjoy. Safe travels.
Thank you, man. I'll talk to you soon. Give my best to your daughter. Give my best to the family. And, of course, to Miss Rebecca. And I'll look forward to talking with you soon.
Of course. Appreciate it.
See you. Take care.
Bye.
That coming from Jeff Lonczak. One more time here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports meets life. We got to take a step aside so you can hear from the great partners we have the opportunity to work with. Under promise and over deliver is what we do here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. When I tell you we have a 2-hour show, it's typically more than 2 hours. And we don't take a lot of breaks. And we have a lot of substance and long interviews. And it's not quick hitter, 2 minutes here and 5 minutes there. I like to give people their space, their opportunity, and I want my guests to feel safe and comfortable. I want you to feel like you're sitting on a couch talking with myself and my guests, not that we're talking over you, we're talking above you, we're better than you. I don't want you to feel like you're watching us. I want you to feel like you're right there. And, it's about relationships with me. And Jeff is one of the best examples of that. And Stefan before that, I mean, man, I could not talk to Stefan for a year and a half. I reach out to him and what do you need? He's right there coming on the show. So, God has brought me to great people, and for those blessings, I give him thanks. We'll take a step aside from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. For everything that God's given me, I give him thanks. We'll be back here to wrap the show up right after this.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes. And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. You know, we want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to a Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I mean, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. I mean, you can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, you know, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, you know, everyone in the world's going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, you know, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. A delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing, you go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Kaz location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point because you get a little something different at each one. You know, we understand how hard it is to, you know, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. Could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to, Buffalo. They're going all different places because we don't have the place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening the doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously, a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. And I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people, that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing. And so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well-lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in, and then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Bryan and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry-loving friend. Right, Lily?
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks comes to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. It's your one-stop sports card and trading card shop, folks. There is something about collecting cards. There's something about the community. There's something about keeping your big kid spirit alive. No matter how old you get, it's going to be able to go right back to being 9 years old and go into the card shop with your grandma, or remembering, what your mom got you one Easter and you open it up and you got your favorite player. There's something special about sports cards and trading cards, and you can only experience it you can only know what it is by experiencing it. And there's no better place to experience what it feels like to get closer to your favorite player, closer to your team, and to play the games that you love and to build these friendships than to go to a place like GG Cards and Breaks. There's no better experience, in my opinion, than GG Cards and Breaks. 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6 and Sundays from 10 to 5. God bless me. Chick-fil-A in DeWitt. Want to give them a special thank you. They just ran out of those new cups, but there's more to come. There's 4 commemorative cups that you can find at Chick-fil-A, and they put out a post that theirs are gone already. So make sure you get out there to Chick-fil-A DeWitt, especially within these next couple weeks, so that you can go out and get them. You can also try the new frosted beverages and floats. You can make your own. You can have a frosted coffee. You can have a Coke Zero float. There's so many great things. And not only is Chick-fil-A bringing in these floats and frosted drinks, but they're doing it where you have the customizability of it. So Chick-fil-A, once again, just raising the bar on everything they bring to us. Go and see them in DeWitt on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard in their giant brick building with the double drive-through, waiting to see you today with Megan Sorber and her team. Many thanks to all of you for being here with me, as always, inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Go out and see them today for freeze-dried candy. They also have their cotton candy, their lemonades, a ton of different popcorns, kettle corns, premium corns like the Elvis, which is the banana-flavored popcorn that has Reese's peanut butter drizzle fantastic because Elvis liked peanut butter and banana sandwiches. So make sure you go out there, get all those favorites today. They have chocolate dip this, chocolate dip that, and they have all different size tins, like the Jacksonville Jaguars one that's right underneath my Q's 21 sign. You can get any size tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. And once you get that tin, half price refills for the rest of your life. If you buy that gift for somebody else, they have half price refills for the rest of their lives. And I can fit 3 different flavors in there, and you want to get a tin that can fit 2, 3, 4 different flavors because there's so many great things and it's hard to choose when you go to Ma and Pa's. Get your taste buds what they've been asking you for and things that they didn't even know that they wanted by going to Ma and Pa's, the amusement park for your taste buds. 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. If you're outside of Central New York, you can go to maandpaspopcorn.com and order today. Big time shout out for everybody that was with us up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. And of course, many thanks to everybody that's with us in the archives: Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. So make sure that you do that here today. And we appreciate you so much for joining us on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. Big time thanks to our incredible partners in Central and Upstate New York: Great Lakes Honda City, Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Brakes, Myers Creek with 2 locations, one on the countryside on 33 Rippleton Road in Kaz, the other in the Syracuse Inner Harbor right by the aquarium that's being built right now on 720 Van Rensselaer Street in Syracuse. You will find Myers Creek's Tap Room. Big time thanks to Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, Game Point Sports Complex, K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A DeWitt, Pizza Man, K-9 Campground, Dog Boarding, Mother's Cupboard, Brian's Landing, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Avicoli's, the Binghamton University Bearcats. Big time shout out to them. And of course, we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse. The Bobcats have been with us for about 4 years now, and we have the opportunity to share their stories of student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni. You can find it all by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our BSC Syracuse playlist. The Bobcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com and go Bobcats. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bearcats every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time during Bearcat Time with student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni, including our recent conversation with the leader of the entire athletic department, that being Athletic Director Gene Marshall. Make sure you find it all by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you will find our Binghamton playlist. The Bearcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. The Onondaga Community College Lasers are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Lasers every other Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, and they will become, their next broadcast going to be coming up this Wednesday, January 21st at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Student athletes, coaches, and administration telling the stories of the Lasers inside the Laser Lounge. I appreciate the opportunity we've had to cover OCC and give them coverage that they've never had before. And definitely you could go check it out on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our OCC playlist. The Lasers are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to onondagalazers.com and go Lasers. Big time thank you to Carvel DeWitt for the annoying moment of the week, our longest standing segment on Wake Up Call, to Chick-fil-A Cicero with lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver is the acronym. Today's topic: humble yourself. Our top dog of the week, shout out to him once again, coming off his 100th career victory in short order. that being Stefan Thompson, the head coach of the Hobart Statesmen men's basketball team in NCAA Division III at Hobart and William Smith Colleges, and being our top dog of the week, proudly presented by K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare. Shout out to Lorraine and the team on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, the only place to bring your dog for daycare. Find out more by going to K-9kamp.com. You can call K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare at 315-437-7110. And many thanks to my good friend, longtime tennis coach, who says, hey, at some point, I'm going to get back into this thing. It's in his blood, being a college coach. Jeff Lonczak, big-time Bears fan, and shout out to him and his Bears going up against the Rams this week. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. The next time you hear from me, by the grace of God, I will be down in Miami, Florida. I will be spending all of these days, including Media Day, the head coach's press conference, going to the game itself, and on the field on the field post, as well as the post-game press conference and everything around the College Football Playoff National Championship. Do not miss a moment of what I call Wake Up Call OTR, which is Wake Up Call on the road, and we also call my coverage of the College Football Playoff DT on the CFP. Find all my College Football Playoff coverage by going to youtube.com/Wake Up Call DT. And there is a playlist. After you click subscribe, hit that notification bell, there's a playlist that says College Football Playoff. Go and check it out. All my coverage will be there. And like I said, the next time you hear from me, I will be on site, on location at the College Football Playoff National Championship, all the festivities down in Miami, Florida. So safe travels to everybody. God bless. No stress. Do your best. Have a wonderful day. Remember that God loves you. Be humble. Be kind. Understand it is not all about you. Love each other. Love yourself. And just be a good person. Be a good person. Have a good heart. Be the reason why somebody believes in God. Have a great day. I love you all.